So cool to be joined by the Rocket, Roger Clemens. He's in town from time to time, but I want to get this out of the way first, Rocket. You're in town next week. At the end of the week, we've got the golf tournament up in Maine. The Drive Four Kids. You were part of it
Love it.
last year. It's kind of a mini. I explain it to people as a mini Tahoe, right? The thing that happens in Tahoe every year. They kind of brought one to the East Coast. You're one of the guys coming back next year. I'm playing in it this year. I'm not just doing the announcing, and I'm
Wow.
in deep. I'm,
Wow.
I'm
I
in
love
trouble.
that.
All right,
We,
I am the worst celebrity and the worst golfer in the field. Okay, so but Roger, what's bringing you back? I know you had a great time last year. Why'd you want to come back and do it again this year?
well, Tommy, I love the game of golf. I tell people I probably met more business opportunities through the game of golf than my 24 years in the majors. And I had a golf tournament myself for 15 years in Houston and for my foundation. And this one, the Drive for Kids, I get it because, again, my foundation, we deal with at-risk children. So it's really cool. I'm excited. I'm doing a clinic, I believe, on Thursday morning. So I'm gonna have to get the arm cranked up a little bit, and then of course I'm close to the Bush family. Being at home in Houston, 41, I was probably closer to 41 than 43. 41 would come to the house, especially if I had a handful of ball players or whatever over, and got a horseshoe pit in my backyard because of him. But Barbara was great too. She was always funny. She played speed golf also, and but anyway, it's benefiting the Barbara Bush Foundation also. So it's a great cause. The golf course is awesome. The people are great, and I guess you and I are going to have to get paired up together and tee it up because, as you
Uh,
know, golf. We look like stars on the range. It's like watching batting practice. You see a lot of stars in batting practice, and then the lights come on about 7 o'clock or 7:30, whatever the game time is, and man, you just got to manage your misses. I remember one of my favorite I think quotes that I heard a while back was I think Ted Williams and Jack Nicklaus, the great Jack Nicklaus, were arguing about what's more difficult, and I think Ted made the comment I have to use a round bat, hit a round ball traveling at 95 miles an hour. And Jack goes, well, that's true. He goes, but the only difference is, Ted, I have to hit my foul balls. You don't. And uh, we can hit some foul balls out there on the golf course. That's for sure.
No doubt about that. If you're standing, when I'm up on the box, if you're standing on the right, move over to the left. That's all I'm saying, because I'm going to push everything right. I want to ask you about one moment last year that was really cool. Patrick Dempsey, McDreamy, the actor, was playing near you, and there you guys were held up. I was over there watching it, and somebody pulls out a glove and a ball and a bat, and you wind up throwing to Patrick Dempsey, who I talked to. We had on this show last month, and he still talks about it like one of the coolest things that's happened. And this guy drives in the 24 hours of Le Mans. Like, this guy's a race car guy, an actor, but batting against Roger Clemens goes down as one of the highlights of his life because he's a kid from Maine who loved the Red Sox. And I was just
Love it.
thinking about you, Roger, and you were at the Country Music Awards, and you had that really really special moment for Toby Keith with the Red Cups. Like, you have gotten to touch so many lives, right? It all begins with baseball, but for you in your life now, being able to travel and do all the things, what does it mean to you to be able to sort of impact lives, to connect with people? Because I really feel like you have spent your retirement from baseball doing just that.
Well, you're dead on, Pards. I mean, gosh, where do I start? You got my heart going a little bit. I'll just jump right to Big Dog Daddy Toby Keith. I mean, he was a true friend. We all miss him dearly. Toby was himself when he was playing in just starting and broke in what should have been a cowboy. Just started in little honky tonk bars in front of 10, 20 people, all the way to when he was a mega star. Um, so I was tough. They asked me, I got to speak at his funeral. That was a little difficult. And as you saw in the music awards, I was trying to keep it together as best I could. It was very difficult when I looked over because his kids were there. And Trish, his wife, was back in Oklahoma. She didn't want to get out in public just yet. She was not ready for that. So I knew when I looked into the camera, I was speaking directly to her, and that was tough on me. And so but I miss him. He was a golfing buddy, funny songs, Red Solo Cup. Uh, he wrote a song about my wife and his wife Trish every time they go to the golf course, and he wrote it in like 20 minutes. It was called Pro Shop Junkies, and where they would go into the pro shop and just shop away while we're trying to get to the first tee. But yeah, at the main event last year, throwing batting practice, a couple guys had somebody had a bat and a couple balls and gloves, so I played catch with a few fans, and I said, "Let's go," and we got on that tee box and. Thank goodness that my control was good. So I told him if I get a little wild, we have plenty of ice. Ice always works. It only stings for a minute. So we had a good time. But as you guys know, saw me behind that glove out there on the mound, locked in. I had pride in the city that I was playing for. That was instilled in me by my mother and my grandmother, their work ethics. Like I said, I think my grandmother said it best. If you're going to become a ditch digger, be the best damn ditch digger in the country. And so that's what I do. And I was out there and I loved it. Obviously did not like it when I did not perform well, when all the fans are coming from everywhere to watch you work. But after the fact, it was, I enjoyed busting guys up in the clubhouse, keeping them on the same page, getting after it. And last 15 years plus, probably doing my DJ at night. I'm DJ No Request at night. I tell people I'm Rocket to most people. Now with the two twin grand boys, they're 7 years old. I'm Poppy Rocket, and then I do my DJing stuff at night. And we love music, obviously, and that goes all the way back to Toby. I mean, Big Dog Daddy left us with some great singing and drinking songs. That's for sure.
Roger, it's so interesting to think about the fact that you have, you're coming up for New England charity events. You've done so many of them, throwing batting practice on the field at Fenway in support of the Jimmy Fund, among many other undertakings. I am curious, I did not grow up in New England. I was a transplant to the area, came here, I got to college while you were in your last couple of years with the Red Sox. And then was here for your post-Red Sox career, right? Like when you came back to Fenway as the villain for many years, and the dynamics were super interesting, and sometimes they were very loving. I remember vividly like seeing people in tears when you walked off the mound for what we thought was your final time in 2003, when you were supposed to be retiring and then didn't, and kept on coming back.
Anybody can retire once. Anybody, it's
Well, it's really interesting though to me that like you are once again, I feel like beloved in most parts of New England and Fenway. How much at home do you feel at Fenway again? And are you surprised that you were able to kind of rebuild the roots that you had into this ballpark that was formative for you?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it was. I never left. I mean, really, I never left. Of course, I would have. Thank goodness for the twilight of my career, right?